All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Donna Wayles, who is the author of I'll Pray for You, a Christian woman's guide to surviving domestic abuse. Donna, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. And we like to jump right in. And why don't we start with talking a little bit more about that interesting book title? Where exactly did that come from?
So, I've been working on the 30-second elevator pitch. Everybody gets like 10 seconds. So, um, when a heartless elder meets a homeless, battered woman and dismisses her with, I'll pray for you, more than her faith was shattered. And so, when I met as the homeless, battered woman, when I met that heartless elder, I couldn't believe that he was just saying, I'll pray for you, like dismissing me. I'll pray for you. Good luck.
Hmm.
And it was just because these are the people that had hosted my baby shower, like a year and a half ago, and all this kind of stuff. Had us over to their house for dinner. And now that I'm like in need, he's dismissing me with thoughts and prayers. And so the title is really kind of tongue in cheek, sarcastic.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm glad you explained that because that is not at all what I thought it was.
Oh yeah, no, it's very like you could have helped me, but you dismissed me with good luck, I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
He's dangerous. Yeah, I know, I have bruises. So yeah, so that's where that comes from. It's very much a tongue-in-cheek challenge to the people who say, oh, yes, I know you need help, but thoughts and prayers. So that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my biggest qualms with the Christian church, actually. It reminds me of James 2. I think it's James 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah, where it's talking about it's the passage about faith without works is dead. And right before
Absolutely.
that, yeah, are you familiar with the passage?
I am. In fact, I wrote an article in Divine Purpose magazine about that very thing. Like putting feet to your faith, you
Yeah.
know, um, it's the idea of yes, thoughts and prayers, and I'm not going to complain if somebody says they're going to pray for me. But on the other hand, sometimes we just need to do stuff for people. We just need to help people out when they're struggling.
Bear burdens together.
Absolutely. That's exactly that was the whole point of the article was, show me your faith by your works, not just the I'll pray for you kind
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And for those of you who aren't familiar with James 2, I'm pretty sure it talks about what good is it to encounter like a homeless person and say, be well without giving them clothes or food. It's something like that. That's a hard paraphrase. But
It absolutely is. And the idea of um just being kind of holier than thou and praying for people is not enough. That you need to, as a Christian, you should show your faith not just by your words, but by your actions and being kind to people in need and helping when you can.
yeah,
So yeah, so absolutely. That's where the title comes from.
I love that. I love that. That's so I like the boldness in the title. That's
Yeah.
what I really like. Well, awesome. Tell us a little bit of a 180 now. Tell us a bit
Okay.
more about what you do for fun and what you do for work. Are you a full-time author? And then we'll jump into like the meat and potatoes.
Okay. So I am not a full-time author. My husband now teases me that I use my job as a full-time teacher to finance my author and that kind of thing. So it's good. Um, I would like to, make more with my book, but at this point, I was really excited. The other day someone stopped me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I had given them a copy of my book, and it was really a God thing or a karma thing, whichever one you want to call it. But um, I didn't really think that I should, it was like, oh no, I really don't want to give him a book. I should give him a book. But when I handed it to him, he said, my aunt is in an abusive relationship. I'm going to give her this book.
Mm.
And it's been like a year. And he said, she finally came, she called me and she said, I'm ready to leave. I read the book and I need some help. Can I come stay with you? And I was just so amazed that, something that I wrote could have that kind of a profound impact on somebody else. And um, that's the reason that I wrote my book, not for the money, obviously, although that would be nice, but mostly to help other people who might find themselves in a situation like I was. So I am a full-time teacher. I teach middle school technology, so pre-engineering, and we get to do all the fun stuff, right? We have paper airplane contests, and during COVID, because we had to wear our masks, and I have this little project where you make a rocket that goes on the end of a straw, and you're supposed to be able to blow on it, but you couldn't take your mask off during the COVID things. And so my husband suggested that we use the cans of air. And so we put the straw on there, and then the kids got to distance over time and figure out how fast their little paper airplanes and rockets went. And that was really fun. So I get to do all the fun, kind of cool Diet Coke and Mentos geysers and, that kind of thing. So I really love my job because we get to do all the fun kind of things out at the school. So that's what I do for my job. Recently I have been like crafting and all kinds of, I made 3D, I'm working on Christmas cards already, for those people who are purists that say you don't do that till after Thanksgiving. um, you know, I'm making these 3D cutout. They look like snow globes, but you open it up and it's just like a pop-up snow globe. So takes a little work, but I'm
Like it
really
takes a lot of
enjoying
work.
crafting that. So
There we go.
just kind of that. And I tell the kids in my classes that I'm not a closet nerd. I used to coach the cybersecurity team, and the chess club coach gave me his fake nerd crown and said, "You win." so, so I play computer, the PC games and the online role playing games and that kind of stuff, just to decompress because we all need to kill dragons and conquer the stuff in our lives, and that gives you kind of a break, and it's just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. What PC games? Just curious.
So I've been playing World of Warcraft for a very long time.
Yes.
Seriously? That's funny.
I love World of Warcraft. I used to play it all the time. It's funny. There were these people who we played with when we were kids. I'm still kind of a kid, like I'm 23, but back when I was 12 and I was playing it hardcore, they were called Spock and Mean, and we would always do the raids with them. And so I just
Funny.
fond memories of that game.
Yeah. So it's getting ready for the new expansion to come out, and
Yeah,
getting new gear and that kind of thing. So it's fun, after a stressful day and you come home and
yeah.
get to kind of blow things up, actually, as my husband would say.
Does your husband play with you?
He used to, but he doesn't anymore. He's been playing on his PS5.
I got
So
you. I got you. Makes sense.
so
Makes
we have the game consoles versus the PC discussion in our house a lot.
sense. Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a lot of max level characters, or did you kind of stick with one and just?
I have two that are Alliance and one Horde that I've been kind of playing. So
I gotcha. I gotcha. There we go. There we go. Well, awesome. Off the PC games now, back to dreams and goals.
absolutely, absolutely.
Tell us a bit more about your motivation. I feel like you shined a little bit of a light on it with the story you told us earlier, but just elaborate for us. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
So and I don't know how much I can share, but the students that I teach are new immigrants to the US. And without sharing too much private information, there's one girl who um her she and her mom and her sister walked from like Venezuela up to the southern border of the US.
Oh
And
my gosh.
um, because her mom had been keeping her under like house arrest because the gangs and things were so bad in their country that they had threatened to kidnap the daughter. And she's like 13, I think. And when that mom closed the door on that house, they knew they could never go back to that house again.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine walking from, that distance. And then she said she got to the wall and it looked really intimidating. But her mom made her climb it. And she fell over and broke her arm. And then mom's first call was to, well, honestly, mom's first call was to like an ambulance because her daughter's arm is broken. But the next call was to an immigration lawyer to make sure that they could get green cards. And when all the other kids are playing games and computer games and little educational games, this girl is sitting in my class at her computer with an English language software learning English because she and her mom and her sister are going to take the US immigration test and they want to be citizens. That gets me up in the morning. Can you imagine being 12 and having walked and knowing that they could only take what they could carry? So between that and then my ex-husband was abusive, and I remember the day that I made the decision, and it was a concrete, I'm gonna live. I'm not gonna let him make me live under a rock because he, stalked me and harassed me. I'm gonna live and I'm gonna make the best of this life that I can make it. And it was a very, like, I remember I was standing in the kitchen of a little rental place that my parents had gotten for my daughter and I, my daughter was 2 at that point. And I remember standing there because she always liked, it's the standard kid toddler meal, chicken nuggets, rice, and green beans every day. And I'm like, I'm not eating that today. Like I can't eat that anymore. And so I stood there in the kitchen going, what am I going to make for dinner? And then it just dawned on me that all of a sudden I can choose whatever I like. Now, and I'm like, I can make squash casserole because my ex-husband would like not, I wasn't allowed to cook with any onions or peppers or anything that he didn't like or spices. I'm like, I can put garlic and onions in things. I can do all these, look at that. I can, like I can decide what I'm going to eat and no one's going to tell me anything different. And if I can decide what I can eat, then I can decide like what I can wear and what color do I like? What is my favorite color? What's my favorite kind of music? And it was really kind of this whole epiphany of I get to decide now. Like no one's going to tell me what I can and can't do. And so it was that whole motivation of I'm gonna live. And one of the domestic violence victim advocates that I had gave me this great quote, and she said that the best revenge is living well. Like the best revenge on him, who said he was going to destroy my life, is looking at the house I live in now, and the trips to Hawaii that I've been on, and and all the different things. And the best revenge is living well. And so, not that my motivation for living is revenge, but sometimes it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. That's awesome.
That determination of I'm going to live in spite of you.
That's a beautiful thing. I love the that choice, like you saying that it's a concrete choice, and then the realization of like I can live now, I can make choices for myself and live to be the person that I was made to be. I think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, take us into your dreams and goals after you got the ability to choose and you learned more about yourself, more what you like. What was your vision for your life? What is your vision for your life?
So I wanted to be happily married to someone who actually like it was a partnership rather than a do what I say, because if you don't, God's going to smack you on the head and whatever. But so I wanted to be happily married, and I am. We've been married 11 years, which is awesome. Um, One of my other dreams is that my daughter would actually grow up and go to college and be um, more than my ex-husband, right? Her dad. So, and so she's actually doing that. And so that was part of my dream. But, I'd really like on my bucket list is having my book made into like a movie or a TV drama kind of thing. Um, I think there are some really good points to do that. And then another goal would be I would love to have a house on a beach somewhere, retire and, just live on a beach somewhere would be awesome.
There-
Or at the beach in a nice house kind
Do you have a particular beach in mind?
of. I would prefer warm and sunny, warm and sunny. Not necessarily here in Rhode Island, where this morning when I woke up, it was 18 degrees. So, no,
Yeah, that ain't it.
that's not it. No.
I'm in
So,
Austin, Texas.
south, warm.
Yeah, I feel that. It always I cannot deal with the cold. Like even in Austin, it's a little cold here right now. Um, but it doesn't drop below 30 very often.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I feel that. So kind of warm and sunny, whether that be South US, would you go into South America?
I'm thinking more like a Caribbean island.
Gotcha.
We got to go to the big island of Hawaii. And now that was neat, because that was kind of the rural area of Hawaii, the big island. So that would be pretty high up on the list of places to go.
There we go. There we go. Well, awesome. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop in order to make your book into a movie or a TV drama?
Um, so I've been researching and looking at that. So I actually need to learn how to write it in the right format. I didn't realize how different novels are from writing TV scripts and that kind of thing.
Mm,
And so that one is a skill that I'm working on, is, like, how does this format, and you really have to boil it down to, like, the first thing you have to write at the top is the setting. So is it interior, exterior? Is it day or night? Is it, like, where is this set? And you get like 7 words at the most. And I
Oh
was
wow.
like, oh, can I do that? Because I wrote like 165 pages in my book. So it's really kind of boiling it all down. And so that's one of the skills that absolutely I need to kind of work on, is the not so wordy and putting it in the right format.
I feel that. Okay. So in addition to like having the setting being in a really concise to the point format, is the rest of the script like that too, like the dialogue and everything?
So where I used words to convey pictures in the book, um, with dialogue, you have to be exactly more concise. And so, um, I'm having, again, that same issue with what's the most important that's going to convey the message that I still want, this still the situation that needs to be conveyed. But how can I do that with this dialogue? And so it's going to have to be a lot different.
I gotcha. So are you gonna rewrite it yourself and then go pitch it to like film producers and stuff like that?
Um, well, actually, this kind of, I had really thought about doing that, but it's really interesting sometimes. And I got this ad, the my author email account gets all sorts of ads and stuff. And there's a woman and she calls herself a scriptopreneur. and she actually shops scripts and like teaches people how to, not
Yeah.
how, well, yes, how to, but for, an obscene amount of money. But the idea is, she will help you write your script. And then, so she kind of challenged me with, your book and your pitch sound really good. How's the script? And I was like, non-existent. No. So, so I'm working on it, but it was a challenge that kind of felt, I had thought about it before, but when someone asked if they could like meet with me and really talk about doing this, uh, it was just amazing. And so now I'm like, oh yeah, this would be great. Let's do this. But
Yeah.
let's do this is going to take it's going to take some work.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And is that obscene amount of money? Like, are you within a mastermind group? Is it more one-on-one coaching? Is it a course?
Well, she offers, she has a different, it's a scale, right? So you can buy the coaching one-on-one, you can buy the class, and she offered a class that was free, kind of an introduction. And so I started, then that's where, and that's where she's like, I really like the idea of your story, but we need a script, and you can either, pay someone to write it into a script, or you can do it because you obviously know the material better.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hmm. That's really cool.
It was, things that you just don't absolutely expect.
Yeah, you wouldn't even think there's like coaches out there for like marketing or sales or podcasting. Like that's very kind of all over the place. Like you'll
Right.
find a bunch of them, but this is such a specific niche.
Oh, it absolutely is. And
Yeah.
it just like showed up in my inbox, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. I've always wanted to try that. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, awesome. What are the highest impact? I'm sure you got this in your coaching course actually. Daily actions that are going to tick the needle forward towards your dreams and goals.
So the highest impact daily actions, I'm still working on these. So what they don't tell you when you write a book, and I really feel as if God kind of like put all of this in my lap, because I needed to get the story out, right, as a writer.
Mhm.
And so I wrote it, and then I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool if somebody published this. And I expected the 400 rejection letters, but the very first place that I sent the proposal to actually sent me back a contract, and not just a contract for this book, but they want me to write two more after this one. And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going, oh my gosh, like how does this, right? So what they don't tell you is that you have to become your own PR and marketing person, and social media, and so I am working on the social media aspects. um I think it's a Gen X thing, but I'm not really a TikTok person. So Instagram all day long. I have YouTube, I have Facebook, and but I don't know. I just can't get into. I've been on Snapchat, but I can't really get into the whole TikTok thing. So
Yeah.
maybe it's an old lady thing. It's a Gen X thing, maybe.
What
So
type of
um
content are you posting on YouTube and Instagram? Is it long form video on YouTube?
Um, so YouTube is the videos that I do from podcasts, and um I was on a TV show from in South Carolina and that kind of thing. So those are there on my YouTube channel. And then Instagram is usually just stuff that's happening in my life that I'm excited about sharing.
Mm.
Um the fake fireplace that someone designed for me in my my dining room, and thinking about letting your light shine so that others can see your good works, and that kind of thing. So it can be anything like that, or my cat. I have two rabbits that
Mm.
are they're we call them husband and wife. It's funny. But they live in my bedroom. They have their litter box trained. And so I let them out first thing in the morning and they go running off and they jump up and twirl and binky. And it's really neat to watch them. And then if I'm not paying attention to the French lop, he will headbutt my ankle so that I will scratch his nose.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And it's really, it just makes my day first thing in the morning. And so sometimes there are pictures of bunnies and all sorts of, just whatever makes me happy
Yeah,
is what I'm posting. We all have enough junk that we don't want to see. So, just the positivity, I think, is those are the highest impact option yeah, actions, I think. I don't do them every day. I probably should, but I'm working on it. So yeah, but sharing a little bit of positivity with followers and friends.
there we go. There we go. Posting on social media, specifically positivity.
Absolutely.
I love it. Um, when you think about being your own PR person, your own marketing person, your own branding person, do you ever think about specific types of content you need to put out to build the brand or what your brand overall is going to look like?
Actually, I do because one of the podcast websites that I'm on matched me with a sex, drugs, and Jesus podcast.
I think I've seen that one.
And um, as much as that really intrigued me, that's not where I'd like my brand to go.
Mhm.
That's not kind of, it doesn't fit with the message that I want to convey. And so I politely declined the opportunity on that one. So yeah, it's, what can you say or how can you make this fit?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are those choices. There was one, and I'm promoting other people's podcasts, sorry, but there was one that was like a leaning left podcast. And I come from a very right Republican family and background.
Mhm.
And but having those kids sit in my class, especially the one who broke her arm falling over the wall, um, we should feed children. There are just things that
Yeah.
we do, right? We feed children, we shelter people who are in trouble and running from gangs and other things. And those are just decent human things to do.
Yeah.
We have the Ronald McDonald House, and I didn't even know they did this until they pulled up with this giant RV in the school parking lot. But they have a Molar Express with dentists and people that give the kids like dental checkups
Dang, I did.
because they don't have that kind. Like
Yeah.
their parents couldn't afford that, and so those things are about being human and just being a decent human being. It's not right or left. We should take care of people. And so that was my pitch to the Leaning Left podcast is, look, I wasn't, there were people who took me in, but there
Mhm.
were also people who didn't. So it's a decent human thing to take people in and to feed them and to help them get clothes when they don't have, so it's all about like you said, the branding thing and what matches with your message. And sometimes it's a tough place to be because no one tells you that you get to be all those things when you start a podcast or write a book.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So interesting to think about. I love that you are being thoughtful about it and that you have an idea and vision for where you want your brand to go, the impact and message that you want to communicate.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Have you ever thought about ramping up your social media? Is that something you're trying to do, or are you just kind of happy with where it's at right now?
No, I really do need to ramp it up. I just hate to say I don't know how, but I'm not, that's not my forte.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that I really just need to work on it. I know there's 100 YouTube videos on how to do it, and I have friends who would help me, but I just need to like sit down and maybe discipline and make myself do it.
Yeah. I got you. I got you. You should like have you ever read the book Who Not How?
No.
It's a great book. You should read it, although the concept is pretty self-explanatory. um, Instead of thinking, how can I do this? So how can I ramp up my social media? How can I become better and more skilled? You say, who can I talk to ramp up my social media? So very much like you got your coach for um, kind of writing the script and pitching the script.
Right.
That's a who. That's not a how. You weren't like, how can I do this?
Right.
Who can help me? And so similarly in this situation, I feel like you could be like, who can help me ramp up my social media? And I'm really thinking about maybe if you have a friend that has a college student that is looking to showcase their digital marketing skills or something like that, they could definitely help you for
Oh, that would be great.
5-ish hours a week. And it really wouldn't take long in that. Like they would just have to create a content plan and maybe help you give you a tutorial on how to record and stuff. But I
Yeah, that would be
think
great.
some accountability there would be nice from them. But
Yes, that too. Yep. Absolutely.
awesome. Well, what character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
I really need to work on like a routine of taking some time out in the day to like this is when I work on social media or this is when I work on writing the script or so setting aside that time in so making a routine, maybe some like motivation to I really need to do this. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to make this happen, nobody's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
So I need to, kind of do this. So it's that motivation and that pushing myself to learn and
Well,
then just do it.
yeah, I feel like that's a common thing for a lot of people. It's like either some discipline or some time management or like focus or typically one of those three or four.
Yeah. Yep.
Consistency is another big one. Patience, one of those
Yeah.
four.
Yeah. And realizing there's a human aspect, right? So um what I record for the first time is not going to be perfect like all the things you see on TV, right? So being human, we have a learning curve. So understanding that it's not going to be perfect, but it will be okay.
Yeah.
It will be good enough, or it's okay to share real life things. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time.
Oh, for sure. I'm 100%. Just go check out my social media right now and you'll see the it's not perfect in action. Because I'll
Awesome.
I'll post some rough videos on there, but I'm posting it just to post. And even though I'm young, I don't like the creative side of things. Like I'm very business minded, numbers focused. But when it comes to like designing a thumbnail for a video, oh my gosh, I would rather like go stare at a wall. But yeah, so I'm right with you there on there's a human side of things. Cool. If there were one or two people that you could meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals. So applying that who, not how we talked about earlier, who would that person be and how would they help you?
I'm not sure who it would be, but it would be someone who could help me write, give me some pointers on how to write a script. And it's unfortunate because my um uh, one of my friends actually just passed away like a week or two ago, and he was a script writer for Star Trek, one of the Star Trek The Next Generation script writers.
Oh wow.
And he passed away in Florida, because he was not able to get a kidney transplant in time. You know,
Right.
rare blood type and all this kind of stuff. And so um I wish that he could help me as a screenwriter. You know, he would have been the perfect person. But there's got to be someone else that's like, you know, that does similar things. You know, it's not ever going to be him. My daughter called him Uncle Scott. So, you know, it's not going to be Uncle Scott, but there's got to be someone else who can help me take that next step and kind of, you know, the accountability thing. Um and the how is then the accountability and the here, let me show you, because I'm a very visual, you know, I need to see this kind of thing in writing. So, you know, here's what it's supposed to look like. Now do the first like chapter or two and then let me see it kind of thing. So someone who's going to help me kind of walk through it and learn.
I got you. There we go. And now we're going to jump into our thriving three. And the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
My favorite movie is The Princess Bride.
Great movie.
I love that. That word doesn't mean what you know. That word doesn't mean what I think you think it means.
Inconceivable.
Yes, that and he's been mostly dead all day. Those are great.
Yeah, yeah, The Princess Bride's a good one. I think I watched it for like the first time a couple years ago. Like you think I would have seen it sooner in my life, but hey,
Yeah, but you know, as a mom with the daughter, we're gonna watch all the, you know, all the princess. We've watched all the princess movies.
that's fair. That's fair. Well, what is one way you like to take care of yourself?
You know, I'm really working on that because I tend to be an overachiever, and it comes from the trauma, and I can now I can see where it comes from, and trying to earn people's respect and their love. But one way that I'm really working on it is just to, you know, that human factor of, look, I'm never going to be perfect, and actually catching myself with that negative self-talk. Oh, you're so stupid, you should have caught that, or whatever. And um no, I'm not stupid. I'm, you know, I made a mistake, or I'm human. And just trying to, like, I wouldn't, someone's challenged me that, you know, would you talk to your kid that way?
Mm,
Or, you know, would you talk to your best friend that way? And I really wouldn't. So why do we talk to ourselves that way?
yep.
So that's one of the newer strategies that I've been working on, kind of that negative, oh, that was so stupid, I can't believe, you know, instead of, oh, that was stupid, or, oh, I'm so sorry, can you know, like, I apologize when I make a phone call. Oh, I'm sorry to bother you, but I have this question. And like, why am I apologizing? They answered the phone. They're obviously going to talk to me.
Yep.
You know, so um not being so hard on myself, that kind of self-care that I'm working on right now. And the other stuff is good, you know, the taking time for yourself, and you know, playing silly computer video games and that kind of thing is always fun too. But like I said, recently I've just been working on that negative self-talk. And if I wouldn't say it to my best friend or my kid, then why am I beating myself up?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got you. I feel that 100%. I recently started selling insurance and I'm very entrepreneurial. And so it's like my own business. I'm 1099. There's no salary behind it. And one of the first things I notice is when I'm like making calls and I haven't gotten an appointment or haven't gotten a lead or whatever it may be, the first thing I go to is like, you're not going to be able to do this. Or, oh, you should just go get a job. Like it's so much just doubt of myself, fear of my situation, and negativity about my skills as a salesperson, about like just across the board. And I don't know, yeah, that negative self-talk, like when you've lived with it for so long, you don't know how much it affects you until you start saying nice things to yourself. And then you say something nice to yourself and you feel good. Like, why don't people tell us this when we're children? You know? Um,
Exactly. Why, where did I miss this?
exactly. No.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you on the catching the negative self-talk. Well, cool. What is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet that person who can help you write your script?
Um, so I'm going to a couple of like online Zoom meetings where, Zoom networking for entrepreneurs and writers and book, authors and writers and podcasters. So I've been doing that and I'm going to continue doing that. But I'm also going to continue my own, like there are a million articles on how to write a script.
Hmm.
And so um just I just, like I said, I need to just make time and keep doing that, because the only way I'm going to make that dream come true is to actually just do that. So keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that. I had a person named Katie Chinakis on the podcast, and she's a voice actress. She might know a person who writes scripts if you want me
Oh,
to make that connection. I don't know how quickly she'll email you back because she is a busy bee, but I can,
that would be awesome. Thank you. That would be great.
yeah, of course. Yeah, because she has been in the Hollywood world for a minute now. So, oh, she was a director of something too. That's really cool. I thought she just acted,
Wow.
also has directed.
Wow. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, she's a boss.
And I was going to tell you that there is, so I was on the Preacher Boys podcast talking about church abuse and stuff, but Eric Swarzinski and Travis Chappelle have started a new podcast forum for hosts and guests. Um, and if you like, they give free. There's like a free masterclass that Travis Chappelle is giving on branding and podcasting and how to make like 5 and 6 figures a month in podcasting.
Oh, there
So
we go. Six figures a month.
yeah, right. That would
Epic.
be awesome. So I can connect you if you like. I can, make the introduction. I can send you their contact information. I'll check with Eric and see if they can.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I would love that. I would love that a lot. Appreciate that.
Speaking of, helping each other make our dreams come true and that whole positivity thing, passing along the positivity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we got our final series of questions now, and these can get a little personal. So I always give the disclaimer, like if it gets too personal, you can always be like, I don't want to answer, I pass. And that's totally fine. So the first question is, what is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
So, um, no one's going to listen to you. No one cares what you have to say. Um, or why should people care what I say? Feel that small and insignificant. I'm just one person in a whole. How many billion people live in the world today? Why? What does what I say make a difference?
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. And where does that come from? Do you think it starts from the relationship you had with your ex-husband, or do you think it goes back before that?
Oh no, it goes back way before that. I was raised in a very traditional small town, and children should be seen and not heard. especially like female children should be like learning to cook and sew and can and all the, and all this stuff. And so I got that message as a child that, little girls should be seen and not heard, and, go get me some more coffee or whatever. And I think that's where it came from. And so I'm working to overcome that. You're I'm not a child, and I'm well educated, I can speak, I can, but it is that limiting belief of, what do I have to say that's going to make any difference for anyone?
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. And do you have any actions that reinforce this belief? So it can either happen daily, weekly, monthly, annually, but you have this belief, and then you have some thoughts based on that belief, you have some feelings based on those thoughts, and then you act based on all of that. Do you have any actions like that?
Absolutely. So um I feel like I should say, in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but just kind of so when I was a junior in high school, the summer before my senior year, my mom and I met with the guidance counselor who was also the principal of the school. And I remember sitting there, and I was not allowed to talk because I was the child, and the parent and the principal were talking. And he said something to my mom to the effect of, she's not very bright. She would make a really good secretary or like housewife. And um, she that's that, but that's probably all we can really expect of her. And I remember coming out of that meeting thinking, how how dare you say how dare you say that to me, and then not allow me to like say any, like I wasn't allowed to say anything in response. And what I told my mom was, look, I'm going to take chemistry, I'm going to take algebra 2, I'm going to take these classes, and you know i'm going to I'm going to succeed. And so that voice rings in my head, right? It's the and then my ex-husband being abusive and no one's going to listen to you anyway kind of thing, um kind of just reinforced that. But I just and it sounds kind of conceited, but it really doesn't. It's me like talking myself out of this belief. But I have 2 master's degrees and a post-grad certificate in digital literacy, so take that,
Yeah.
kind of a take that. So there,
Yeah.
it's not that I'm not bright. It's that, the if that's your expectation, then, how are you? But I kind of took that, I guess I took that as a challenge, like internally, like, I heard your message. I'm gonna act like you expect me to act, and now I'm gonna like prove you wrong.
Mm.
And so, fighting with those, again, that negative thought of, she'll never be anything more than and not to say that there's anything wrong with those, but he was dismissing me to those. Would be different if I was choosing those.
Yeah. 100%. That makes sense to me. I an example of me when I was like this, people told me I couldn't do the IB program and play varsity football and do well. And I was like, all right, watch me. So I completely resonate with that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do
Absolutely.
what you
Good
say
for
I do.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you were to change that limiting belief into an abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart, what would that phrase be?
Hmm. I really like the quote that the victim advocate gave me, that the best revenge is living well.
Mhm.
The best, not that we should live for revenge, but the best way to prove all of those people wrong is to be successful. And I never dreamed that I would be like somebody the other day said that I was an inspiration to them, and I'm like, really, me? Like me? What?
Yeah.
So the best revenge, or the best thing that you can do, is just live to the best that you can. Live positive, live to live.
Mm, yeah. The best revenge is that's gonna be the title of this podcast. We've just come back to it so many times. It has to be. I love it. All right, we got one last question for you.
Okay.
And so I want to frame this next question. Alex Hormozy said that the difference between manipulation, do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
I don't, but it sounds like it's somebody that I should look up though.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's like he's a good YouTuber. He's a beast when it comes to marketing and business. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I think you should learn. He's just awesome. But he said that the difference between manipulation and help is intent. And I think his point here is that you're influencing people in both situations. But manipulation is about getting somebody to do something you want them to do, while help is about seeking to understand what somebody else wants and then helping them get there. So this next question is about helping people, not manipulating them.
Okay.
There's a common saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I actually found out from Dr. Alan Leica, who was a guest on the show, that you can get a horse to drink, you just have to salt its oats. Now, I want you to think of a person who has a really fixed mindset, they're not willing to accept help or change, and they hate their life, they want different. How can we, you and I, create an environment for that person to salt their oats and help them change their life?
So I'm going to give you an example. And um, my husband and his counterpart at his job, um, they go out for, I don't know, they go out for drinks or happy hour or whatever, like Friday afternoons, just to kind of decompress and the week or whatever. And the woman that was the bartender, he said something just didn't feel right to him. And, she was wearing long sleeves and it was hot out, or I don't know what, but it just didn't, she just didn't act like she was right, that something was wrong. And so he gave her his business card and said, please call me if you need anything. My wife has been through the whole domestic violence thing, and um she can help you navigate. If there's a problem, she can help you. She can talk with you, and you can figure it out together. And um he didn't expect anything more of it, but not 3 hours later she called and she's like, I need help, I need to get out, and can you meet me somewhere and help me?
Wow.
And so um it's not the and like the other lady who I gave the book to, and she read it and left. It's the pointing out that the situation might be a problem, but you can't make the decision for them, right? The person has to decide to leave, but giving them options and showing them even hope. This could be, you could do this and this, but it's up to you. And so giving them that chance at hope. And my husband, I sat with her in the emergency room, and my husband sat out in the waiting room with her two kids.
Mm.
Because there was no one else, and she needed to be checked out. And so, it's just the hope and the option, right? Because sometimes we don't get out of our own way because there aren't options. Like the horse doesn't have to eat the oats. I mean, he's gonna if he's hungry, but
Yeah.
But there is a choice involved there. So if we give people those options, there is life after being a domestic violence victim. And I choose to be called a domestic violence subject matter expert.
Mm.
Right? So I choose not to be identified as a victim, but it's that but it's that choice that we were talking about, right? It's that, and it's really hard. It's because people are set, right? They know it's the devil,
Yep.
and it's hard to get out of there. It's horrible, and it's the most dangerous time in the life of a domestic violence victim is the time that they leave. That's when it gets the most dangerous.
Hmm.
And so giving people hope and giving them options and choices is really important. And then just being there for them when they call.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, Donna, that's all we have for you. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. This was great. I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no, happy to have you. And yeah, is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, but if you'd like to play World of Warcraft, there's a new expansion coming out. We could, you can reactivate all, your old dust them all off, and
Exactly, exactly. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you for listening. Donna, thank you for coming on. If you're listening to
thanks
this,
for having me.
absolutely. If you're listening to this and you loved what Donna had to say, make sure to buy her book, buy a copy for a friend. Go ahead and rate it, review it. If you know somebody who knows how to write scripts, go ahead and introduce them to Donna. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We will see you on the next one. On that note, we're out.